king has awakened.
I do not have the greatest setup, just because I'm talking about the top 10 are just the worst movies that I saw this year, so it's like not like I'm gonna put a lot of effort into this. There were some pretty disappointing movies that came out this year. I just highlight a couple of them that I saw. Actually, there's not that many, because most of the movies I enjoyed, or at least I found something positive in them. These are just movies that I found mostly negative, like 50%, over 50% of the movie was just disappointing. And so, here we go at number 48, because I'm just talking about all my top movies that I saw. So we're starting at number 48, which was Black Widow. I was hoping for a good Black Widow movie, and Marvel just went the safe route and just totally disappointed me in the worst sense possible. They just, I don't know, it just, like, there was moments that were great. Like, they introduced a couple new characters that I thought were very interesting and very entertaining. I was very disappointed by a lot of the things that happened in this movie. It's mostly just disappointment. Or anything is just like, you know, it's a Black Widow movie. This is something that fans have been wanting for a long time, and that's what we got, and it was sad. Okay, continuing on, number 47, we have Old. I thought overall, M. Night Shyamalan is a funny guy. He's a cool guy, and I liked a lot of his movies. Signs is great. Signs and, like, you know, Sixth Sense is fantastic movies. But then, you know, Old came out, and I watched Old, and I'm like, what is this? You know, like, it just, like, it's kind of, like, really stupid, just the whole premise that people just randomly get old for some reason. And so there's a lot of, like, well-directed shots and a couple of good scenes, but it's just, like, it felt like also just a lot of the characters just really sucked at acting. Like, you know, Thomasine McKenzie, she's fantastic, but she just really sucked in this movie. Kids randomly getting pregnant, and then she gives birth, and then, like, you know, things happen. It's like, what? It's just weird and it's whack, but, like, I'm glad that M. Night Shyamalan is making movies. I'm glad he's able to get funded. I'm glad he's able to just do everything. Like, he has a vision for a movie, and I'm glad he's able to produce it. You know, whether or not the movie is good or bad, I'm happy that he's able to make what he wants, and he's able to create something that he's great at. But, I mean, it's totally not like a horrible, bad movie. Like, I watched it and I actually kind of enjoyed it, but it's just overall just technically just not a good, not really a well-written movie. Number 46 is Matrix Revolutions, or Matrix Resurrections, and, like, the more I think about this movie, the worse and worse the movie gets for me. I don't know why I don't know why it's at the bottom of why it's not at the bottom of the list, but I guess technically there was just, the fact that it's Matrix is what makes it, just keeps it a little higher for me. Because, you know, Matrix is pretty, to me it's pretty important, and so seeing all the characters back and everything, but just seeing how butchered they were, I'm not really a fan, and, you know, this movie really did kind of suck, and I'm thinking that maybe it should be lower. Actually, no, literally, I think about the movie and, like, there's nothing great about it. If I come back to it, maybe I'll appreciate it more, but I just feel like this movie was a joke. Like, it literally felt like a prank on the Matrix fans and stuff. It's just, number 45 is Chaos Walking, based off of the game, and so this movie came out, I was like, oh, let's just watch it and see what happens, but this movie went through, like, the worst production of any movie's entire life, it feels like. And then the movie that we got out of it is just, like, you know, it's just, like, really, it's just a very mid-tier, very average action movie that just kind of didn't really make any sense. Like, I had, like, the concept was interesting, but it just didn't really, they didn't go into it as much as I wish they could have. But, like, there were some good action moments. Tom Holland is fine. Most of the moments are great in it. Number 44 is Army of the Dead, directed by Zack Snyder. And so, you know, there was some enjoyment to it. It was really cheesy and really dumb and way overlong. But, you know, there's a focus on the father-daughter relationship, and, you know, that's great and all. And, you know, it was fun to see the action. There were some intense moments, but, like, nothing too crazy, nothing too bad. And at this point, we're in, like, the okay movies. So most of these movies are just mostly good overall, and so I'm just gonna continue on. Number 43, Godzilla vs. Kong. Not much to say about this. Easy, simple action movie, Godzilla vs. Kong. It was fun. Number 42 is Bad Trip. You got Eric Andre doing funny stuff, and he has like this relationship with this guy, and it's a simple story about friendship and who your best friend is, and it was actually kind of heartwarming at the end. And this was good. It was the comedy was funny, so I would recommend this movie, Bad Trip. I think I saw it on Netflix. The Tomorrow's War, number 41. I actually I thought the action was actually really fantastic. I thought the twist and turn, like the whole concept where they go to the future to try to change the past or something. I don't know what that happened exactly, but there were some moments that actually worked really well. And just seeing Chris Pratt as like some crazy engineer guy, like it was super silly, but it was actually really funny and actually kind of interesting. Number 40 is Free Guy. This is a funny movie. This was a funny comedy. Ryan Reynolds was doing his thing. The video game jokes were mostly pretty funny, and I mostly had a mostly good most of the time. Number 39 is Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise is a movie about Dwayne in the jungle, and it was alright, not bad at all. Number 38, Cherry. I mostly enjoyed this movie, but there were just a lot of issues directing wise that Joe and Anthony Russo decided to do, and just kind of ruined the movie a little bit. But the story was still worked, and the idea that they were trying to do worked as well. But that was also its biggest flaw of just over flaring everything that they tried to do. Number 37, The Guilty. It's a very simple plot. The guy, he's on the phone and he's just trying to figure out this whole situation all through the first responder thing. It's a very quick movie, it's a very fast movie, it's like a simple thriller. But I actually found it kind of interesting. And then I realized that it's based off of like a movie, some Swedish movie, and this is actually an American recreation. I'm like, oh, dang it. I haven't seen the original one. What I got here worked, it was effective, it was great. And so, number 36, House of Gucci. This was a fun movie. I actually mostly enjoyed this movie. I thought the characters were great. I thought the basic idea, the objective idea that she was going for worked. They were going for worked. But just like one of the main characters' motivations just was not clear. So I was like, why are you doing the things that you do? Like, why do you act this way? And so in the end, she sort of became annoying. But the whole story, the idea of what it was good. And I thought the characters and relationships, like Jared Leto, he was great. I actually really enjoyed him. But it was a good movie. I actually wasn't bad at all. Number 35, The Courier. You got Benedict Cumberbatch with Jesse Buckley. He's doing a job for the Russians, and it was actually cool twists and turns, and the ending was actually pretty cool. I actually really enjoyed this one. Benedict is a good actor. Number 34, Finch. Easy movie to recommend. Simple. Tom Hanks and a robot, they bond about life, and there's a dog, and it's really cool. Number 33, Malcolm and Marie. Good relationship dynamic movie, just two characters talking, interacting. It's a very dialogue heavy, similar to like Before Sunrise, but in this movie some character just brings up a random something and then they just start fighting about it. It's like, why did you just bring that up? What's the point? And so that's sort of just, it's people bringing up random things, and it's very similar to how a relationship works. But overall, like, the writing was good, the directing was good, and the acting was fantastic, especially from Zendaya. I'm really quickly switching to this here. I'm gonna try out this style. Number 32, I have Don't Look Up, and like, if I'm not lying, I actually kind of like this movie. Like, I was not expecting to like it, but it actually turned out to be pretty good. The comedy, like the editing, seemed to be something that people didn't really like, but I, for some reason, actually kind of enjoyed it, and it actually wasn't as cringy as I thought it was gonna be. And all the characters worked for me. They all were interesting, except for maybe except for Jennifer Lawrence. She was kind of annoying for most of the movie. But Adam McKay kind of knows what he's doing with this movie, and I thought it was actually pretty good. At number 31, I put Nobody. This was a good action movie from the producers of John Wick, and I actually thought it was pretty nice. Pretty good. Good action. It was just a simple story of a man. He's living the boring old life, and then he kind of goes back into the business a little bit. And it was interesting. It was actually kind of fun. At number 30, I have Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is miles better than that one guy did in the original Justice League version. What Zack Snyder improved on this, we actually finally got to see what he wanted to do in this movie, and I thought it was a great watch. I watched it with my brother. We had pizza and we planned a whole day for it. And the 4 hours, I mean, it's a bit long, but it was still enjoyable. And I'm just glad that this movie was made. Number 29 is Luca, a good Pixar movie. I mean, nothing much else to say. You watch this, you get a nice message about accepting everyone, even if they are a little different from others. You know, you gotta accept them all, and it's pretty good. Pretty good. Number 28 is Belfast, and I mostly really enjoyed this movie. It was a simple message, you know, about like sort of a love letter or whatever to all the all the immigrants out there and all the people who stayed and all the people who left. You know, it's like they both did what they had to do for their own right reasons, and it was pretty good. The cinematography was great, and I thought the directing was not bad either. Number 27 is Raya and the Last Dragon. This is like an actual like action movie. It's a Disney animated movie, and there's no singing in it or anything. It's like a legitimate like movie, and I was like, this is actually pretty cool. If you like action movies or martial arts movies, this is actually a pretty good one. This is like up there with like Shang-Chi, you know what I'm saying? Number 26 is Annette, one of the weirdest movies I saw this year next to Titan. You get Adam Driver, Marion Cotillard doing their best to sing and act, and I thought it was actually really entertaining, and it was a weird movie, but it was still fun to watch. Number 25 is Tick Tick Boom, really heartfelt story about a man just struggling with being 30 and trying to finish his whole thing, that he's trying to finish the last song in his play that's like it's like his magnum opus, you know. He's trying to work on it, and very, very interesting movie about people's passions and sort of a story about someone's passion to do something and work hard on this thing. I thought it was really enjoyable. It was good. Number 24 is No Sudden Move. Steven Soderbergh, he knows exactly what he's doing. This was a hilarious movie. It was like I guess unintentionally hilarious, but there was a lot of funny moments in it. It's just like two robbers, they're committing a crime and they kind of suck at what they're doing, and so then the whole movie is just them trying to fix or finish the whole robbery thing, and it's actually really interesting. Number 23 is Mitchell's versus the Machines. This is one of the better animated movies I saw this year, better than Luca. One of the best animated movies that came out recent times, next to Soul. I thought this was a really heartfelt story about family. The way that they look into relationships and like technology and stuff is like a little boomery, but it still like actually just worked in general, and I thought it was great. And I sort of on the level of the Lego Movie, how this movie kind of concludes in the third act, and it was interesting. Number 22 is No Time to Die, the final conclusion to the James Bond movies, and this was one of my favorites of the Craig Bonds. I mean, it was a great ending. It was a bit long, maybe a tiny bit too long, and maybe the villain isn't entirely fully developed or as interesting as we could have hoped, but the character moments in this movie worked, and that ending was really emotional. It was just a great way to end the whole Daniel Craig series, and I'm excited for what's next to come. Number 21 is The Hand of God. This is it's a movie about a young boy who has a passion. He has like a passion for film, and then a tragic event happens in his life, and it's sort of like him struggling through that, and how does his family and how do his friends struggle through this or help him through it, and it's a really interesting story because it's a young man. He has like a vision, he has a future, or he feels like he has a future in a certain in filmmaking, and then, you know, this event happens, and it's like, what do you do now? What do you do after such a terrible, tragic event? You know, and it's like, I really like the directing in this movie. There's a lot of shots that just hold, and some of the relationships in this movie a little weird, but like still really interesting and really intriguing. And the main character is definitely like a personal film, and the main character definitely feels like the director put a lot of thought into like the main characters of the movie, and it's actually a good watch.